You ever read something that seems to say two completely opposite things at the same time? Well, today we're diving into a pair of verses from the Quran that do exactly that. They present this incredible theological puzzle, and you know what? We're going to see if we can solve it together. So here's the big question at the heart of it all. Is everything that happens, the good and the bad, from a divine source? Or are we actually responsible for the negative stuff in our lives? The answer, it turns out, isn't just picking one side. It's actually hidden in the language of these two verses. Okay, so let's look at verse 78. It describes this very human tendency, right? When good things happen, we say, this is from God. But the second something bad happens, we start pointing fingers, trying to find someone to blame. And this verse just cuts right through that with this incredibly powerful statement. Say, all things are from Allah. That sets up this huge foundational idea, God's total sovereignty over everything.
But then, literally, the very next verse seems to flip the whole thing on its head. It says, whatever evil befalls you is from yourself. So, wait a second. How can both of these possibly be true? How can everything be from God, but at the same time, the bad things are from us? This is the apparent contradiction we're here to unpack.
To solve this, we've got to zoom in on that first verse, verse 78. Because believe it or not, this entire puzzle hangs on the specific meaning of one single really crucial Arabic word.
And that key word is sayya. Now, in the context of this first verse, it's not talking about sin, not at all. It's talking about things like calamities, hardships, the external stuff that happens to us. Things like getting sick or a financial loss or just going through a really tough trial. These are the struggles of life.
So what this means is, when verse 78 says all things are from Allah, it's confirming that both the good things, the blessings, and these external hardships are all part of a divine plan. Nothing happens outside of God's knowledge and His will. So in that specific sense, yeah, these difficulties are from Him.
Okay, so if those external hardships are from God, what about the evil that the next verse says is from us? Let's get into that now, because this is where it all starts to click into place.
And here it is. Here's the solution. In verse 79, the exact same word, sayya, is used, but it means something completely different. Here, it's not about what happens to you. It's about our own actions, our sins, our disobedience. It's about what we choose to do.
And this all boils down to one absolutely crucial idea: free will. See, we are given the ability to choose between right and wrong. God doesn't force anyone to lie or to be unjust. So when we choose to do something wrong, that action, that sin, well, that comes directly from us. That is the evil from yourself.
And just like that, what looked like this massive contradiction reveals itself to be this brilliant, profound use of language. It's one word carrying two totally distinct meanings in two different contexts. Let's lay it all out so we can see exactly how this paradox gets resolved.
So when you see it side by side like this, the whole picture becomes crystal clear. On one hand, in verse 78, saya means calamity, which comes from God as part of a divine decree. On the other hand, in verse 79, it means sin, which comes from ourselves as part of our human accountability. It was never a contradiction, just two different but equally important truths.
But look, this is more than just a cool word puzzle, right? This distinction has a huge impact on how we see our lives, our choices, and our whole relationship with God. It really changes things.
Think about it like this. Our sins aren't pre-written in some book of fate. No, we have the will to choose. We make a decision, and it's only after we act on that impulse, after we do the wrong thing, that the action is recorded. This puts the responsibility for what we do squarely on our own shoulders. We're in the driver's seat of our actions.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? First, we understand that blessings and trials are part of a bigger divine plan. Second, we have to take full ownership of our choices, our actions, our sins. And that leads to a third really important insight. Maybe those calamities, those hardships from God actually serve a purpose. Maybe they're a wake-up call, a test to bring us back to the right path.
So in the end, seeing how this one word can hold two such deep meanings give us a much more balanced perspective. It acknowledges God's ultimate control over our circumstances, while at the same time, it empowers us with this incredible personal responsibility for our actions. It's a powerful way to navigate life with both faith and accountability.